Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first, and I have a good rack. I have intern, I-N-T-E-R-N-E. So hopefully that will play, or I will have an 8-letter word. Intern does play. It plays underneath the A, the second A of para. But let's see if there's a better move. I notice the first A of para is in between two double word squares. So if I could reach both of those, that would probably be the best play. Well, I can't see anything with the A. It's sometimes quite hard to see words when you've got so many high probability tiles. Gosh. Intern doesn't feel like the best word at all. I think para only takes an S after it, so I can't take advantage of a hook from the letters on my rack. Let's put intern down and see if inspiration strikes for anything better. Well, I can't see anything better. It would need to go through the P or the first A of para. Okay, I think I've given enough time to this. I can't see anything better, so I'm going to play intern. And I draw the Z, which is good. Intern takes quite a few letters after it, so I expect my opponent will use column 15. If he doesn't, I have Coozes, C-O-O-Z-E-S. I can also put the Z on F6 to make 0. It would be nice to get rid of the U. Ah, my opponent hasn't used the triple word square at H15, so maybe I can use it. The only letter which goes after intern that I have is S, so that would need to go there. Now, can I use the Z? Well, I can't see a word which uses the Z in that spot. So is there anything better than 0? Holding on to the U isn't as bad as it sometimes can be because it goes well with the O, and retaining the S as well gives me the OUS suffix. So the play I'm looking at is 0, I think crows is good as well, CROZE, which I could play in the same column, but the C goes quite nicely with the OUS, so I'm inclined to prefer 0. Okay, I think that's a reasonable play, 33 points and a decent leave. And that's good. I have Cruores, but I'm not sure it plays. I have Procures through the P of para. Great, and that hasn't been blocked. So is there anything better than Procures? That hits one double word square at L4. There is still the middle E of intern, which could be used to hit 2 double word squares. Now, recowers is good, and recourse. Recowers, recourse, resource. Okay, none of them hits 2 double word squares. But if I play procures, I'll score slightly more points than, for example, recourse, but I will be placing the S on O4, so I'll be opening up the triple lane in row O, or the triple word squares in row O. So it may be worth taking a slightly lower score with recourse. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, I prefer recourse. Because looking at column 12, if I'd played recourse, then the R and the E would be 1 square lower, and I'd be placing the E next to the double word square at D12, which I'll quickly show you. If I played recourse, then a play could have been made from A12 down to D12, and recourse stops that, unless my opponent has an H, which is the only 2-letter word beginning with C. Okay, I think that's probably the best I can do. And I pick up, well, a mixed selection. I don't think there's a bingo there. The G and the V are not a good pair of letters to have on one's rack, and well, the C and the D also don't go well, so the constants as a whole are quite clunky and lack synergy. But it's quite a nice rack. It shouldn't be problematic to sort it out. I've got paved through the P of para for 22 points, but there's probably something better than that. I'd certainly like to play off the V. Bulb. Okay, 14 points, that's good. I'm 80 points ahead. But what's the best play I can make with this rack? Paved doesn't feel good because it only uses up one of my 4 consonants, and the 3 that are left, well, they're clunky and lack synergy as a threesome as well as a foursome. with the V. Gosh, I was thinking there probably would be something through the E of recourse. The E and the R are dangerous floaters in terms of my opponent getting an 8-letter bingo. Well, graved's quite nice, isn't it? Graved. Or craved. Craved's better. Craved 36 points. Great. I'm a bit surprised I didn't see that sooner. But that's good because no tile goes in front of the C to make a 2-letter word, so the triple word square at A8 is safe. I'm not particularly bothered about giving my opponent the A15 triple word square because I don't expect him to score highly with that. Yep, 36 points is good, e.g. not a bad leave. Okay. Well, that's not a great leave, but it's another rack which is not really a problem. I should be able to sort that out. I hope. Well, I have edge at A15 if my opponent doesn't use the triple word square there, which he doesn't. Okay, let's put down edge and see what it looks like. That's quite nice. It's 21 points and the leave of A-G-I-T is good. It's balanced between vowels and consonants, and the G is helped by the I. They have good synergy because if I draw an N or there's an N on the board, I may have an ing ending word. And also having the A and the G means that if I draw an E, I've got an AGE ending word. And edge takes out the triple word score at A15 and doesn't really offer my opponent any new opportunities. There may be something better than edge. But 2 G's on my rack means I certainly have to play one of them. And I can't see a better play, so I'm playing edge. Great, that is a nice rack. I have drawn the N, so I do have the ing ending. Doting is a word, D-A-D-O rather, A-T-I-N-G. It doesn't play on the board at the moment. Perhaps my opponent can oblige. Well, he can't, he changes. So what can I do with this rack? There is a floating R in turn, but that doesn't make a bingo with my rack. There's the Y. Oh yes, thank you very much. Toadying, like it. I'm putting it down straight away, but I'm not going to immediately click. Great, that is such a nice word, toadying. Well, I think I am going to play it because certainly anything better would have to be a bingo, and I can't see anything through any of the other floaters on the board. So I'm actually quite glad to have seen it. 'Cause although it's in some ways a common word, it's not an easy one to spot. It's one you can easily miss. Right, 3 I's and 2 O's. I guess I had to have a horrible rack at some point, and it's happened now. There is a word hi-oi, H-I-O-I, which would sort the rack out. I don't know if it plays anywhere or how well it scores. And I notice that the C of recourse is available, which goes well with the H. But a play like itch, for example, would leave me with 2 I's and 2 O's, which is so bad that that can't possibly be the best move. Right, so what else do I have? I don't think there is anywhere for high oi. There's doty through the D of toadying, but again that leaves me with 2 I's and an O, so an all vowel leave, so I'm just asking for trouble with my next rack. I'm just looking at the Z of 0 to see if I can play around that. And I can't see how I can utilise that. My opponent's got 54 points for joins. He's used up a blank in order to achieve that score. And he's still 120 points behind, so I'm in a reasonably strong position. And I've got 8 minutes on the clock. But I would certainly like to sort this rack out. I don't like doty at all. It opens up the triple word score for my opponent. And it doesn't score well, and the rack leave is poor. What to do? Gosh, I have no idea what to do with this rack. It just doesn't feel bad enough to change. But maybe I should. Well, there is one play I can make which has attractions. Thio, for 23 points, takes out the floaters in joins, which restricts the opportunities for my opponent to get a bingo. Scores reasonably well. The rack leave of double IOT isn't terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. So Thio is certainly better than changing. And since nothing else has jumped out at me, I'm going to... Well, having said that, I'm just looking at the G of toadying to see if there's anything from that G down to the triple. I can't see it, so I think I will play Thio. Okay, well that's not too bad. I have drawn the Q. I don't have a U, but I have 2 I's. So there is the useful Scrabble word chi, which I'm hoping will play somewhere. There's also chin, Q-I-N, but there may not be it may not be possible to play either. Okay, my opponent scores 26 points for wax. Now, can I play the Q? I'm struggling to see anywhere where it plays. QI is the only short word that I can see that might play. Right. I can't see anywhere to play the Q. I am a little short of time with only 5 minutes with 30 tiles in the bag. This VOE scores 32 points, which is good. The rack lead isn't great, but if I'm going to keep a queue, I'd certainly like to keep an eye with it. And a good thing about VO is that it doesn't open the board up. Right, that's done. Great, I draw the U, well, one of the 3 remaining U's. It means I have equip onto the P of para. Unsplit. Yeah, I think that's good. 72 points, so my opponent is now only 70 points behind, 78 points behind. If I had an N, I'd have Gu Chin in column 8 down to the triple word square at 08. Now, is there anything better than equip? I'm not sure there is. I don't have a great deal of time to look for it. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, I have otalgia. But is there anywhere to play it? It nearly fits under unsplit. Actually, it doesn't remotely fit under unsplit, but it would be nice if it did. I'm 110 points ahead. There's 17 tiles in the bag, plus 7 on my opponent's rack. I've got just under 4 minutes. Tiles that are left are, well, reasonably bingo-y. But there are still quite a few high-scoring tiles. And there's definitely a lack of openings on this board. The E in equip is probably the most dangerous floater, but if my opponent were to play a bingo through that, he wouldn't be hitting a double word square or a triple word square. So he'd only be scoring about between 60 and 70 points, and he's 100 points behind. So that doesn't worry me unduly. I could play TAI in column 5, making Chi and EA, which would block that opening. That's where my opponent has played. Right, my opponent has not created an opportunity for me to play otalgia. So let's see what we've got through the F of Fermi. It would be dangerous to leave that open. Even without a bingo, it's an opportunity for my opponent to score well. A float is good. It scores 30 points and it burns 5 tiles. There's only 12 in the bag. I'm, well, just under 70 points ahead, but I am ahead by a significant margin. Therefore, I do have an interest in expediting the end of the game. It would be nice to play the G as well, mainly because any such word would probably score better than a float. But no particular word jumps out at me, so I think I'll go with a float. Gosh, that's nice. I have Sagiest. Doesn't go anywhere. But if my opponent is desperate, he may choose to open the board, at which point I could pounce. There aren't really any floaters for an 8-letter word, so it's Sagiest or nothing from the bingo perspective. unless my opponent creates some floaters with his next move. Right, my opponent has changed, which is slightly unusual given how blocked the board is. What shall I do? I'm tempted to play just a couple of letters because this rack is so good. Right, this is tricky because no particular move is jumping out at me and my clock is ticking down. I certainly don't want to open the board. This doesn't feel great, but let's see what it looks like. Nothing goes in front of gem. So I'm not opening a bingo lane in column 2. Only scores 14 points, which is poor. Okay, well, I'm sure zig is better than that, because the T helps the leave. 7 in the bag, let's play this. Right, sudates may be good. I'm not 100% sure of it, and I should be. If it's good, that is. Lenity. Okay, the bag is empty. My opponent has DKMOOV, which is horrible, so rather him than me. I just need to play off, or to play out, preferably in 2. Gosh, my mind's going blank. This is so bad. Doug. Okay, I mean that's really poor, but the game's won, so it's not too shameful. I do have an out now with seats and NYS. Well, seats, guts, and NYE is better. I've only got 23 seconds left. I'm just looking around to see if I have a second out. Well, it's not a second out, but it's in the same place, but asset starting underneath the N of lenity is probably the biggest scoring move in that location. That may be safe from my opponent. I can't see how he can obviously block those plays. Great, he doesn't block it. Okay, let's get this down. Make sure everything is good, and it is. So, asset for 26 points. Na is guts and nigh. Done. Let's just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. Right, okay, well that was a good game. I won, and I played 2 bingos, or 3 bingos actually, with toadying, so that's good. I hope you enjoyed watching the game. I think there were several interesting spots. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.